Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NFL Turf Talk. We are here for the NFL Week 15 preview, as you can see on the overlay on the screen here. I'm your host at Scotty Drown. As you can see, I am riding solo today. My man Dylan wasn't able to make the show, so I will be hosting this one solo today. Just like usual on Sundays, we're going to go through the entire Week 15 slate. We got you covered here. I'm going to give predictions. We'll get into keys to victory for each and every team throughout those matchups, and we'll go from there. Definitely, guys, feel free to get involved in the comments. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, help us out. Head over to the YouTube channel, NFL Turf Talk, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can get involved in the comments section there. Let me know your thoughts. If you disagree with any or all of my picks today, let me know. Because I'm not going to come on here and try to tell you that I'm an expert by any means. I'm just here to talk football with you guys and have some fun. So definitely feel free to call me out. A little different on the kickoff show for Sunday today. We didn't get to our top 10 power rankings on the Thursday show. We had some stuff come up during that show. Had to cut that show a little short. So I'm going to get into the top 10 power rankings to start the show today. So it will be a little different. We'll use this as kind of a way to get us into things, right? And I do want to say at the forefront of presenting the top 10 power rankings, this is a little different this week because this is a week where you're going to get full transparency from me as an Eagles fan. You can see my background, all of it. It's Phillied out. I am a Philly fan. And I think, when you come on a show like this, the NFL Turf Talk, or when I do my NBA show where I cover the entire NBA, it's hard. It's hard not to be biased, especially when your team is good, like the Eagles, right? The Eagles just won the Super Bowl, defending Super Bowl champs. It's hard to be honest with yourself at times, right, about your team. They've been playing some bad football, let's say, in the last 5 weeks. You could argue the offense hasn't been what it's supposed to be, hasn't met expectations for the entire season at this point right now. So, yeah, I think just to start out with these top 10 power rankings, I'm going to be a little transparent, a little honest, and it hurts my soul. But the Eagles are not in the top 10 for the first time this season, man, as the defending Super Bowl champions. So I gave that long spiel because it's painful. It's painful for me to remove the Philadelphia Eagles from the top 10 teams in the NFL. And the reason so is because I do, honestly, and I know there's bias in there. I know I'm a fan. It's favoritism. I know. But I do believe that they're still a top 10 team. They just haven't been able to prove it for the last 5-6 weeks, whatever you want to call it, since that bye week. So just wanted to start with that. The Eagles are not in the top 10, everybody. If that makes you happy, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. But it hurts me. Coming in at number 10, though, nonetheless, let's get to business. Chicago Bears, 9-4. They lost to the Green Bay Packers 28-21 last week. Obviously, the Bears, I've been kind of up and down on them this season. I don't know exactly what they are. I, obviously put them into the top 10 power rankings after they beat the Eagles. And then they come out, they lose to the Packers. It's not a bad loss. It's in division. I believe it was in Lambeau. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. But they end up coming away with the loss. I do wonder how real this team is, but they still make the top 10. They're a 9-4 football team. They do have some interesting facets to their offense. Obviously, Ben Johnson calling the plays. You got the two-headed monster in the backfield with Swift and Monangai. So they do have some good things going there in Chicago. I just really need to see Caleb Williams pick up the play a little bit here. He's been a little, even against the Eagles in that W, he was pretty poor, in my opinion. What up, Remy? Thank you for tapping in, brother. Happy Sunday. Rams got a big matchup. We'll get into that later, my man, with the Detroit Lions. Number 9 on the power rankings, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in at 9-4. They beat the Indianapolis Colts 36-19. Obviously, Daniel Jones goes down in that game with an Achilles injury. Jacksonville defense able to take it from there. And Travis Etienne, I do want to call him out. He's having a great season there. He's picked it up of late. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing some good football lately. I don't know how real they are. They're 9-4. I believe they have the chance to get to double-digit wins for the first time in I would have to go back and look, but I don't want to get it wrong. It's quite a few years, I believe, over 10. So Jacksonville 9-4, they're 1 win away from the 10-win mark, as I mentioned. Good W against a division rival at the end of the day, and they're well on their way towards. Excuse me, let me turn them notifications off. They're well on their way towards winning or potentially competing for their division ultimately. Obviously, Houston is coming up. They've won some games in a row now. They're starting to find their way, so I think they'll duke it out for the rest of the way there. Number 8, we have the Buffalo Bills at 9-4. They're coming off a big win against the Cincinnati Bengals, 39-34. This was a Josh Allen superhero type of game. Once again, he's just playing at a really high level. Obviously, Buffalo Bills rely on that to win, and he was able to guide them through here. Joe Burrow had the 2 turnovers. He played pretty well outside of the 2 turnovers, but as you guys know, turnovers decide ball games a lot of the time. HP, what's good? Appreciate you tapping in. Caleb's arm accuracy, like, worse in the league. Yeah, and I noticed it against the Eagles because, quite honestly, if Caleb Williams was better in that, what was it, a Black Friday game? If Caleb Williams was better in that game, they would have beat the Eagles by much more. I mean, there was plays to be had that were not made by him in that game. So I feel you. No, yeah, I feel that too. I don't know if you're talking about the Jags or if you're talking about the Bears, but yeah, it kind of goes for both. The Bears, outside of the Eagles, really have lost to pretty much every good team they played. And then you look at the Jags, it's kind of the same thing in their division. Some of those wins look better now with the division picking up, but it's good. Terry, good morning to you. Appreciate you tapping in. Talking about the Jags, yeah, no, I do feel you. I do like their defense, HP. I think their defense is they get a lot of turnovers. They do make plays. They're very aggressive. So I do like the Jags defense. I am just not a Trevor Lawrence guy anymore, man. I was at one point, but at some point you got to let that ship sail on, hypotheticals and potential. Like, this guy's in his 6th year or something. We're not talking about potential. He is what he is at this point. So yeah, I feel you on the Jags. Bills come in at number 8. Number 7, man. Gonna show some love to the LA Chargers. They went out there. It can go both ways, right? Like the turnovers. Like, the Eagles turned the ball over 5 times. Jalen Hurts specifically turned the ball over 5 times. The Chargers did get those turnovers, especially that one in overtime. That was tip drill style. That was all Chargers. They made a great play on that. That was a throw that shouldn't have been thrown, but nonetheless, they made a great play to end the game. I do like this Chargers defense. Harbaugh's got them playing pretty well. They did let Saquon get off in the ground. That was the first time I was able to see him have some success this year, but they do get after the quarterback. And in that secondary, they got a lot of playmakers, obviously starting with Derwin James. So we'll see what the Chargers can do. Obviously, Herbert playing with that injured offhand, right, non-throwing hand. We'll see how that continues to hamper him. He was sacked 7 times in this game, but was able to make some plays with his legs and ultimately got the Chargers to a win. Tui, is it Tui? I'm gonna butcher this name. Let me just get it pulled up in front of me so I don't. I'll try to pronounce it as best as I can. He's a monster, though. I was paying attention to him last week when the Chargers were playing the Eagles. And I mean, in the run game, in the pass rush, he's just in your face on that Chargers defensive line or defensive front. Yeah, Tuipulotu. Yeah, there we go. I had to read it. I had to read it off the screen, then I can actually pronounce it. But Tuipulotu. That motherfucker's a monster. Obviously, he can get after it in the pass rush. He does a lot of great things for them. Ultimately, maybe that's why they were able to move off of Bosa this offseason. Who knows? But keeping an eye on the Chargers. They can run the ball. Justin Herbert, I feel like we've seen him on his good days. He obviously can have bad days, but we'll see what the Chargers can do. They play a Kansas City team this week. Number 6, we got the San Francisco 49ers. They were on bye week, so they don't move much. They're 9-4. Been playing some pretty good football with injuries throughout the season, and now they're starting to get a bit healthier with Brock Purdy, George Kittle, all of those guys back. So we'll see where the 49ers go. Brandon Ayuk, Terry, if you're still out there, talk to me about Brandon Ayuk, because I really don't understand this shit. I haven't read much into it just because I don't have a care for motherfuckers that aren't playing. Like, if you're not playing, then you're out of my sight, out of my mind. But yeah, I'm curious what's going on there. Obviously, I have him in a fantasy team. He's been on my IR all season, and I just haven't really paid attention to his updates. When he's active, I'll see what's up with him. But if you're still out there, Terry, I know you're deep in the San Fran business, but they were on a bye week, 9-4. They don't move. The Green Bay Packers are the first team in the top 5 here. I know they didn't struggle. It's not that they struggled early. I guess their offense, you could say, struggled early. They had similar struggles to the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, where they couldn't get the run going as much as they were able to last season with Josh Jacobs. Jordan Love, he can be turnover worthy in instances, right? But I feel like Jordan Love has been playing really, really well since Christian Watson came back. He's obviously that big end zone, red zone target for Jordan Love, and he's been killing it in the end zone. 5 touchdowns, I want to say, in his last 4 weeks. Yeah, I had that written down. 5 touchdowns for Christian Watson in his last 4 games for the Green Bay Packers. 2 games with 2 touchdowns mixed in there. So he's obviously a favorite target for Jordan Love. I was a little worried about the Packers when Tucker Kraft went down. He was their number 1 target for a lot of this season. But obviously Christian Watson healthy now. He's kind of moved into that role. Green Bay Packers, the defense has been real all season. They have one of the better defenses in the NFL. They're quick. They move laterally very well. You're not going to get to the outside on this team. So like what the Packers are doing, they got a huge matchup this week as well. Number 4 starts our NFC West top teners, right? We could say the Seattle Seahawks at 10-3. They beat the Atlanta Falcons 37-9 last week. They just continue to take care of business. They had the one hiccup, you could say, against the LA Rams, where Darnold looked like a shell of himself, and the Rams go out there and get that W. But the Rams are the top team in the NFC for my money right now, so that's not a bad loss by any means. I think the biggest thing with the Seattle Seahawks that's interesting to me is that their defense is legit. Their defense is good. The offense, the run game. I love Charbonnet. I love Kenneth Walker, what they're able to do with that duo. They bring a lot of power. They bring a lot of grit. And I think that's going to be very, very beneficial come the postseason. On top of that, obviously, you have Sam Darnold, which I'm not like a Sam Darnold non-believer. I don't believe in him as an elite quarterback. And some of the numbers that he's put up the last 2 seasons, Minnesota and now Seattle, they tend to look elite. In the big moments, I've seen it happen too many times with Sam Darnold in his career so far. I don't believe it. I don't believe in him in that sense, but I do believe in him in a sense of if he has the right coaching staff to take himself out of his own way, he can have success. And I think the receiving staff that the Seattle Seahawks have as well, starting with obviously JSN, the league leader in receiving yards, it's very beneficial for a guy like Sam Darnold. So I think you could kind of protect Sam Darnold from himself in a sense with this roster. We'll see how it plays out with Seattle. They got a big matchup this week too. See how everybody feels about that a little bit later. Number 3, I mentioned it, the LA Rams, my top NFC team. They're 10-3 as well. They beat Arizona, who I thought maybe a sneaky trap game. I get it. They were coming off the loss to Carolina, so you don't expect them to fall into a trap 2 weeks in a row, of course. But no, they went out there and handled Arizona pretty handedly. 45-17, they beat the Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, the Rams just keep handling business. They got, once again, I mentioned it earlier, big matchup against Detroit. Number 2, the New England Patriots, 11-2. They were on a bye week. I don't got much to say about them. They didn't move at all, but they got a huge matchup today, obviously. And then finally, number 1, we got the Denver Broncos at 11-2. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders 24-17. I'll be very transparent with you. They're number one because they've won 10 games in a row. Do I think they're the best team in the NFL? When it comes down to it, when we get to the postseason, no, I don't think they're the best team in the AFC. So I don't know. They have not been impressive even in some of their recent wins. I mean, 24-17, sure, against the Raiders, whatever, right? But it's some of those nail biters against bad teams that they've had in the weeks prior to that I guess the best way to put it with Denver, they can beat anybody with that defense. That defense is legit. They can almost lose to anybody as well with the hiccups that offense has. But they've been able to maintain. They've been able to win games 10 weeks in a row now. So I'm not gonna try to take credit when they just win by any means. But looking at it without without the power rankings in mind, if I'm being honest, I'm not a huge fan of the Denver Broncos. I can see why you didn't move me because of the bye week. We will climb that ladder. Yeah, I feel that. You know, the San Francisco 49ers, I'm trying to think because I think they did move up one spot just because the Bears lost. And at the end of the day, as good as the Bears have looked at times this year, they match up with the 49ers in the playoffs. I'm taking the 49ers. I hate to say that. I guess I like the Bears more than the 49ers. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care, I guess. But we just had that beef with San Fran a couple of years ago, Terry. You know how that goes. But that's kind of wore off a little bit at this point. But yeah, I think just being completely honest, I would take the 49ers over the Bears in a head-to-head matchup. And I do believe they actually play maybe next week. So we'll get to see that play out before the playoffs, lucky enough. But no, that rounds out the top 10 power rankings. We spent about half the show on that. But it was a good way to just kind of take a look at where things are right now, the top teams in the NFL, how they're doing, before we ultimately make picks on today's games that will include some of these teams. So just thought that was a cool way to get the power rankings out this week as we weren't able to on Thursday. But let's go ahead and get into our matchups this week. So down at the bottom, I'm trying something new, just putting the matchups, putting records within those matchups down on the bottom banner. Just kind of keep you guys informed if you're wondering. But just trying some new stuff with the show here. Keep it moving, keep improving. But let's start with some of the lesser matchups. I'm just going to blow through these, and then we'll spend the last part of the show talking about the key matchups of this week, the Buffalo, New Englands, the Chargers, Kansas Cities of the world, right? So starting at the top, we got the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, you could argue this is a key matchup. Not for me, man. The Ravens, for my money, they're not winning a playoff game this year. Even if they do win their division and make the playoffs, the Ravens are not winning a playoff game. And the Cincinnati Bengals, 4-9. I just don't think we need to mark this as a key matchup. Although this is it for the Bengals. I believe losing this game would basically completely remove them their chances from making the playoffs. Although they're very slim, anyways. Baltimore 6-7. You got Pittsburgh 7-6 leading the division. So obviously there's some room to be had to move there for Baltimore, but I don't know, man. They just lost to Cincinnati in Baltimore, 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving. It was Joe Burrow's return. The Ravens should win. The Ravens should win. I've said that the last 2 weeks, though. They should win. I just think something wacky is going to happen. I think the Bengals are going to win this game at home. There's no logic to it. There's no logic to it. I'll be honest. The Ravens are 2.5-point favorites. I just think Cincinnati, I think Joe Burrow, I think they're going to fare well at home. Now, it is interesting because I know the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic did get hit with snow. So I'm curious what the weather is like in Cincinnati today, because I know they had a winter weather warning going into the weekend. So I'm curious what the snow or what the weather's like in Cincinnati Does that favor Baltimore or Cincinnati? You would think it favors Baltimore, right? With Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I just don't trust Baltimore. As much as I don't trust Cincinnati's defense, I don't trust Baltimore. Yeah, I'm going with Cincinnati. I'm going to go with my gut there. Next, we got the New York Jets 3-10 visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars 9-4. Jacksonville's a 14-point favorite in this matchup. The over/under set at 40.5 points. Brady Cook starts for the New York Jets. I would say like this is a letdown spot for Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. They're about to get the double-digit wins, about to take a strong hold of the AFC South, but no, not today. Not against Brady Cook. The Jags are going to take care of business. Do they win by 2 whole touchdown scores? 14 points? I don't know about that. That's a bit much, but I do like the Jags to win this one. This is a game I'm not going to touch gambling wise. Next, we got the Arizona Cardinals 3-10. They're visiting the 8-5 Houston Texans. Houston is a 10.5 point favorite in this one. Over under set at 42.5 points. I'm going to go with Houston. I'm going to go with that sturdy defense. That offense is playing a lot better, getting Nico Collins involved. CJ Stroud's looked a lot better since returning from the concussion. I'm going to go with Houston Texans, who are making a strong push to catch up with those Jags who I just mentioned leading the AFC South. So Houston can move to 9-5 if they win this game, ultimately have a little bit of control in their destiny there. But yeah, I like the Houston Texans. Got the smoke alarm. Yeah, my wife must be burning something. I apologize. Well, let's take a little break, see if they go off. Perfect. Got a sip of the coffee. And the smoke detector is off. So, oh, 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 mm, mm. Sundays. Woof. No. Yes, I like the Houston Texans. Oh my God. We're gonna have to fight through it. We're gonna have to fight through it. I apologize. Oh man, now it's at the upstairs. Golly. I apologize, y'all. Next, we got the Cleveland Browns 3-10 at the Chicago Bears 9-4. Yeah, come on. You're burning stuff. You're burning breakfast. This is not cool. This is my wife in the comments. No, HP, she's laughing, so it's not. It's not a real fire. There we go. It's off. It's off. Perfect. Cleveland Browns 3-10, visiting the 9-4 Chicago Bears. I got to lock in here. Chicago minus 7.5. The over/under set at 38.5 points. I just mentioned Chicago at the bottom of the top 10 power rankings, right? And I mentioned how I don't trust them as a top team, or I'm trying not to go too far by saying they won't make the playoffs at 9-4. You got a 3-10 Cleveland team, right? Chicago's 7.5 point favorites. Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders, who's had the offense. It's moved a little bit better, right? Like he's been a little bit better than Dylan Gabriel, right? I appreciate that, HP. I don't know if you enjoy the smoke detector alarm like beeping in your sound system, but I appreciate your appreciation for the show. Yeah, I did put a pizza in it, some grease stripped into the bottom of the oven. It kind of is my fault. But no, the Bears against the Browns, man. The Browns have a tough defense that they're holstering there. But my worry for them is 3-10 team. How much longer are you going to be playing with motivation to win, right? On the other side, you got Chicago at home. What's the weather like in Chicago today? Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams versus that pass rush does worry me a bit. Can they get the run game going? That's going to be a big part of things. Ben Johnson's a big part of things, making Caleb Williams comfortable, getting the short pass game going. So we'll see if they're able to get some things going. I just have a weird feeling about this game, man. I am going with the Cleveland Browns with the upset here, and I think this will start a little bit of a back to reality for the Chicago Bears to an extent. And that's I don't mean that in any shade. It's just I think they're getting a little bit ahead of themselves right now by, leading the division, competing with Green Bay and Detroit. I think they're getting a little bit ahead of themselves, but we'll see if they can take care of business at home. I'm going with the Browns with the upset today. Washington 3-10 visiting the New York Football Giants 2-11. New York is a 2.5 point favorite. Over under set at 46.5. Once again, weather implications. What's it looking like in New York with the snow? I know in Philly we got hit pretty hard, so we'll see how that impacts things. Jackson Dart versus Marcus Mariota. Jaden Daniels obviously out after re-injuring his elbow last week. I'm going to go with the Giants at home. I really don't have a clue. Neither of these teams are playing for anything, so you really don't know. I'm going to just go with the home team here in the division rival matchup. Next, we got the Tennessee Titans 2-11 visiting Terry's 9-4 San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is a 12.5 point favorite in this one. San Fran at home against the Titans. The Titans have surprised some teams the last few weeks with their level of play, but 2-11 team, San Fran playing for a lot right now, right? They're competing in the NFC West. They're competing for a playoff spot in the NFC. And that NFC West is tight. You got 2 10-3 teams, and then you got a 9-4 San Fran team right now. So San Fran needs to keep winning. I expect they do so against a 2-11 Tennessee Titans team. Next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders 2-11 visiting the Philadelphia Eagles 8-5. Philly's a 12.5 point favorite in this one. Over under set at 37.5. As I mentioned, Philly got hit by a good amount of snow. I was actually surprised when I woke up this morning. I knew snow was coming, but I didn't know it would lay down like this. We got Eagles pregame coming up. I'll get into the keys in this game. I'm going Birds, obviously. They've lost 3 straight. They need a fucking win. They're at home. I believe they'll take care of business against the 2-11 Las Vegas Raiders. 12.5 points, though. That's spread, right? 12.5 point spread means the Eagles would have to score 21 plus points, which they have not been able to do the last 5 weeks. So the spread is interesting, but Eagles bounce back game, they need it. They should. We'll talk about it on the next show. Head over to DSM Media Philadelphia after this show concludes, and I'll be over there live talking to Raiders and Eagles. Finally, to close out our quick swing through, the Carolina Panthers 7-6 at the New Orleans Saints 3-10. That's a 425 game. Carolina is 2.5 point favorite against New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints came away with a huge W against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last weekend. Then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go out on Thursday Night Football in a must-win game. They go out, they lose to the Atlanta Falcons. The Carolina Panthers have a chance to take the lead in the division of the NFC South today against the 3-10 New Orleans Saints team. Sounds like the Carolina Panthers are going to take the lead in the division, right? They're 2.5 point favorites. They need to be careful here, obviously. This is a Saints team that just went out, played home record for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They can do it for the Carolina Panthers as well. The good thing for the Panthers, though, even if you were to lose this game, they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe, twice throughout the rest of this year. So they're going to control their own destiny regardless at this point. Go out and win this game, though. I am going with the Carolina Panthers. I want them to win because I do want them to win the NFC South. I want to see Bryce Young in the postseason. But let's see what they got today. They're 2.5 point favorites. That line is a bit sneaky to me. I won't lie to you, in New Orleans. But let's get to the key matchups. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games that I love this week. And then there's the 2 primetime matchups. I don't love them, but they do have playoff implications nonetheless. Let's start at the top. We got the Buffalo Bills 9-4 visiting the New England Patriots 11-2. Patriots tied for the best record in the AFC. Drake May has taken the league by storm. He's doing it with, could you say, similar weapons to Josh Allen, I guess, right? Like, obviously, Josh Allen had Stephon Diggs in the past. Stephon Diggs has had a bounce-back year, but he's not a wide receiver one for my money anymore, but he's playing like one for this team thanks to the play of Drake May. They have been able to get the run game going a little bit more with Travion Henderson since the Ramondre Stevenson injury. Now you get Stevenson back. Henderson's established himself. So this team is exciting. Their defense has been playing really well. Obviously, Mike Vrabel, he's going to bring a defensive approach to this team. And Christian Gonzalez on the outside. He's obviously one of the better corners in the NFL. So they're a fun team. They're starting to build some stars there in New England again. And I think this is great for the NFL, having New England back in the picture and competing with Buffalo for this division ultimately. Buffalo 9-4, they have to win this game in order to have a chance in winning the division. It's in Foxborough. Buffalo 2.5-point favorites. I guess this is the first time I actually looked at that line because that just completely surprises me. New England at home. It's the Josh Allen effect, right? He's obviously playing some really good football right now. He put the team on his shoulders last week against Cincinnati. New England won the previous matchup in Buffalo 23-20, so it was a close matchup. The ultimate difference in this game was Drake May not turning the ball over versus Josh Allen and company turning the ball over. I believe it was twice in that matchup. This is tough for me. I'm going to go with New England. I'm going to go with my preseason darling or my sweetheart, whatever you want to call it. I was on the New England Patriots in the preseason. I said they would be a team that kind of shocks the league. Not in the sense of this, though. I mean, tied for number one spot in the AFC. I didn't see this coming per se, but I did think they would be a sturdy football team with Mike Vrabel, Drake May coming around. They're better than sturdy, man. I'm going to go with the New England Patriots with another signature win at home in Foxborough against the Buffalo Bills. I think Drake May at this point, man, and maybe I get crucified after this game for saying this, I think Drake May and Josh Allen cancel each other out at this point. Just my opinion. We'll see. Can Josh Allen elevate? Because I think Josh Allen has to elevate more than Drake May does, because I think New England's defense is much better than the Buffalo Bills. But I'm going with the New England Patriots to take care of business at home. This is a prime spot for the Bills to make their way to the Super Bowl this year. No Patrick Mahomes, most likely. No Lamar Jackson, most likely. What better year to do it? But I don't see it. I just don't think the team around Josh Allen is good enough. That defense is not good enough to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. But we'll see. Can they come out, make a statement today in Foxborough against New England and Drake May, one of the top MVP candidates of this season? Next, we got the LA Chargers at 9-4. They're visiting the Kansas City Chiefs 6-7 on the season. This is it for the Chiefs, guys, right? Like, this is it, right? If they lose this game, it's over for the Chiefs. They're not making the playoffs. I think we can all agree to that. Chiefs, 6-point favorites at home. I don't know if that's right or wrong, man. 6-point favorites at home. The Chiefs haven't been able to beat anyone. They haven't been able to win the games that they've needed to win to put them in the spots they need to be in. And so I wonder if the books are they falling for the Chiefs trick again, or is this the week that the Chiefs turn it around and make everything tight in the AFC and they sneak into the postseason, right? It is a perplexing game. I'm gonna go with Kansas City after talking all that shit, right? I'm gonna go with Kansas City at home because of Justin Herbert. He did not look great against the Eagles. I just don't think the Eagles were able to take advantage of it. Don't think Patrick Mahomes is coming out and turning the ball over 5 times today. Don't think that's happening. I think the Chiefs do enough defensively to control Justin Herbert, injured non-throwing hand, stop the run enough that they're able to get a W in this game and just make things confusing, quite honestly. They'll be 7-7. Chargers will be 9-5. And we'll see where we go from there. This is a huge spot for the Chargers, though. If that defense can come through, help out Justin Herbert on the road, get some turnovers, get him in some nice field position spots to score some points. Huge spot for the Chargers if they can get a win here, because I go to the next game, right? And I'm looking at the Packers visiting the Denver Broncos. Excuse me, the Green Bay Packers visiting the Denver Broncos. Green Bay Packers are 9-3-1 on the season. The Broncos are 11-2 on a 10-game win streak, as I mentioned earlier in the show. Sportsbooks, they're on to this one. Green Bay is a 1.5-point favorite on the road against a Denver team that's won 10 in a row. An 11-2 Denver team at Mile High. It's weird, but I'm on the same page as the books here. I think Green Bay takes care of business in this one. I think Jordan Love's better than Bo Nix. I think Green Bay's defense is up there in the caliber of a Denver Broncos defense. And, Josh Jacobs, it's a big wild card in this one. He's questionable going into this game. I think he's going to play. We'll see how it shakes out. Green Bay's going to need to get the run game going, but I just love what Jordan Love's been doing the last few weeks since Christian Watson returned. He's been able to spread the ball around, but specifically in the end zone, he's capitalizing with Watson, getting him involved. I ultimately think this Green Bay defense is going to be too much for Bo Nix. I think they're going to be able to shut down the Denver Broncos run game. I think they're going to force Bo Nix to beat them. And I'm just not confident that Bo Nix can do that against a very, very good Green Bay Packers defense led by Michael Parsons, obviously. If the Broncos lose that game, I say that's big for the Chargers, right? Broncos move to 11-3. Chargers get that W on the road against Kansas City. They move to 10-4. And then let me just double check on this. They have to play again, right? The Broncos and Chargers I'm talking about. Broncos and Chargers. Where are we at here? So the Chargers play the Cowboys next week. Texans. They play the Broncos to end the season. I knew they had at least one matchup left this year. Obviously, go into Kansas City, get this W if you're the LA Chargers, move to 10-4. Hope and pray the Packers get that W at Mile High, move the Broncos to 11-3, and then just see where the season goes. Maybe the Chargers have a chance at winning that AFC West, but we'll see how it goes. I do got Green Bay winning in Mile High, and I got the Chargers losing in Kansas City ultimately. So from my perspective, it won't matter, but we'll see. The next one, I saw the comment earlier. Let's go Phillip Rivers. Let the river run. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's like people over 40 that like are just like fantasizing about this 44-year-old grandfather coming back, starting in the NFL. I don't understand. I really don't understand any of it. I don't understand how the Colts thought this was the move to bring him back in the middle of the season after Daniel Jones goes down. I can't believe that there's not like another young quarterback or younger quarterback or vet that's available to play or come and fill in. They go the Phillip Rivers route. I will say this. He's a gunslinger. He's not going to come out here and be afraid to throw it today against Seattle. But I don't know what to expect in all reality. I think the line I saw for his passing yards was like 153.5, which Phillip Rivers 5 years ago, yeah, hell yeah, I'm laying that. That's nothing for Phillip Rivers, the gunslinger. 5 years later, grandfathered out, 44 years old, hasn't played in the NFL in 4 to 5 seasons. I don't know what we're going to get today, but I do know that Seattle's defense is really good. I know they fly around. I know that secondary is turnover worthy, and I know they're going to get after the quarterback today. And I'm a little worried for Phillip Rivers at his age, man, to just be thrown back out there. Did he get a full week of practice with the Colts? Like I get it. He's running their offense at a high school team that he's coaching. Come on, man. This is the NFL. This is the NFL. This is the NFL. Yeah, and Nick Sirianni's got a relationship with Kevin Patullo. I don't give a fuck as a fan. This Kevin Patullo shouldn't be my offensive coordinator. Phillip Rivers shouldn't be playing in the NFL in 2025. I don't care what you say. We'll see. He's gonna have to prove me wrong. He's familiar with defenses from 5 years ago. Maybe things haven't changed. Maybe he comes out and slings it against Seattle. Maybe Sam Darnold has a meltdown and they're able to win. I got Seattle winning this one. They're 14-point favorites. It depends. It depends how the Colts come out. Do they come out? Do they let Phillip Rivers loose? If they let him loose, they could turn the ball over a few times, in my opinion. They come out, play conservative, hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor 30-plus times. Then I don't see this game getting to that point, like 14 points, 2 scores, 3-score spread or anything. Yes, I'm not getting into this. Phillip Rivers, man, like I'm not spending too much time on this guy. I'm gonna go with the Seattle Seahawks at home, the 10-3 team that is taking care of business to this season when they've had to. The last matchup before the nationally televised games, we've got the Detroit Lions 8-5 visiting the LA Rams, who are 10-3. Obviously, this is going to be the Goff versus Stafford rematch. I saw on ESPN they were calling that a win-win trade. I guess so. I guess it's a win-win. Like, one team got a ring and Detroit didn't. So I don't see how it's a win-win, but if you want to call it a win-win, I get it. Goff has had success in Detroit, right? I get that, but Stafford got the Rams over the top. I think they won the trade, but we'll see how it plays out. LA Rams, 6-point favorites in this one. The over-under set at 54.5. This one's in LA, so it's going to be in the Coliseum. They should, or not the Coliseum, excuse me, in a dome nonetheless, but they should be able to score some points both ways today. Detroit needs a win. They need a win. Right now they're in the 8th spot in the NFC. They're outside looking in the postseason. You obviously know what's going on in their division. Bears 9-4, Packers 9-3-1. They've lost both matchups to the Packers. Really slim chances to win the division. They're probably going to have to win that 7 or 6 seed, right? So I'm looking at this game and I'm looking at the Rams. Can the Rams afford to lose? Now that I think about it, no. You got the Seattle Seahawks 10-3 in that division. Niners on your heels. This is going to be a good game. This is going to be a great game. I'm going with Detroit to win just because I think they need it more. I don't think home field advantage matters in LA, if I'm just being completely transparent. I just like Detroit to score more today. I think they need it more. I think they go out and they get it. The Rams, I think my best bet for this game would probably be Detroit +6 because it'll be a close game regardless with Detroit having the opportunity to win. It's not to say the Rams can't win, obviously, at home. They're 10-3. They could easily come out and take care of business. Devontae Adams is questionable for this game. How could that impact the Rams? It's just a gut feeling for me, though, honestly. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions on the road in a spot just to make things wackier in the NFC and in the NFL, right? Make it even more balanced when you talk about records. Finally, we got the primetime games. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. I do got to hop over to Eagles pregame, but we got the Minnesota Vikings 5-8 at visiting the Dallas Cowboys, who are 6-1. Dallas Cowboys 5.5-point favorites in this one. I will say this, guys. Dallas needs this obviously to stay alive for the division, stay alive for the postseason. What the Eagles do, that obviously plays a part in what Dallas needs to do. This feels like a letdown spot where they could overlook a Vikings team that's been playing bad, J.J. McCarthy, who's been playing bad, but still have some talent there. They do still have some things they're working with on defense. They have some weapons on offense that can kill you. It feels like a letdown spot for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win, just because you want to think like maybe they don't let it down this time, right? I'm really just picking them to win in hopes that they do let down, and I just have to be wrong about it, right? Like I called it out, but I still picked the Cowboys. Karma, whatever it is, it'll work out. I'm picking the Cowboys in hopes that they lose by me picking them. If that makes sense. But no, I do think the Cowboys, they should take care of business at home against a bad Minnesota team, a JJ McCarthy that is turning the ball over a lot right now. We'll see what happens. Cowboys should be able to score too much points for the Vikings to compete. Next and finally, Monday Night Football, we got the Miami Dolphins 6-7 visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers 7-6, leading the AFC North as of right now. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite in this matchup. The over/under set at 42.5. It's a must-win for both teams when you talk about playoff implications. The Miami Dolphins have surprisingly won 4 straight. Playing better football. They're getting Devon Achane involved heavily. He is questionable for this game, but I did see a report that he is most likely to play. He's probable to play. I'm going to go with Miami. I just think they're playing better right now than the Pittsburgh Steelers are really playing better than anybody in the AFC North. It's weird because the Dolphins are usually a team that starts hot at the beginning of the season when it's warm out, and then they kind of fall off as it gets colder, but it's kind of going in reverse this year. They're playing better football now. They've won 4 in a row. They're running the football. So I like what the Miami Dolphins are doing of late, especially compared to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just happened to be playing a bad Ravens team last week, in my opinion. So I'm going with the Dolphins. We'll see. It's a must-win for both of these teams. That rounds us out for the Week 15 slate. You got my picks. You got my predictions. I'm going to give you, 5 best bets across the slate. I'm staying light in the 1 p.m. Obviously, Eagles playing. I'm not going anything in there aside from the Eagles game. But later on in the day, I do got a few plays for you guys. So Amon-Ra touchdown in the Rams game. I think points will be scored, and I just think Amon-Ra's due. And you look at the value, he's at plus 115 compared to other guys like Puka. Devontae Adams is ridiculous, like minus 180. Jahmyr Gibbs, you're never going to get any value touchdown-wise. So I like Amon-Ra simply for value and opportunity in this game. Next, let me stay in that game because for whatever reason, I wrote it down weirdly. In that game, I mentioned I kind of like Detroit to win. I definitely like Detroit to score over 23.5 points. So get to the 24 mark and we'll cash minus 135 in this matchup against the Rams. Love that. I do think Detroit's going to score at the very least, right? They're not, this is not going to be a low scoring game at the end of the day. So even if they lose, I think they score 24. Going into another game at the 4:00 slate, we got the Packers and Broncos. I mentioned it earlier, but Christian Watson, he scored 5 touchdowns in his last 4 games. In 2 of those games, he had 2 touchdowns each. Plus 215 today against the Denver Broncos. I get it. It's the Denver Broncos defense. They're sturdy. They're great in the pass game. I think the Packers are going to be able to do some things. I think they're going to get some red zone opportunities. And I think Christian Watson's going to be that target if you get there. So I'm going with him once again there for the value. That is my favorite play today, quite honestly. Christian Watson, tutty. Next, we'll finish out with 2 touchdown scores in the Sunday night slate. I think you could go with the over in that game. I'm staying away from it just because Minnesota, they're just so volatile. Pickens TD, once again, value. I think value-wise, you could go with Pickens or CD in this one, but I'm going with Pickens just for my money, the better red zone target. He can go up and get the ball, obviously. Plus 125 to score in this game. I think the Cowboys obviously going to score some points in this matchup. I like Pickens to score contested tutty style. Plus 125. And then for some value in the game, I'm just going straight value. It might not happen. He's just kind of due. He's a great player, obviously. It's Justin Jefferson. Touchdown in the big D, right? Go celebrate on that Dallas star. Get in the end zone. He's plus 170. I'm just going with value here, but I do understand who's throwing him the football. JJ McCarthy's throwing him the football. I'm just hoping it's like one of those like pre-designed plays, where it's built to go to Justin Jefferson, a wide receiver screen type. Maybe it's a one option play, right, for JJ McCarthy to get him the ball in the red zone. But I just love the value, and I have a feeling he's going to find a way into the end zone in Big D tonight, regardless of what the score ends up looking like. So those are my best bets of the day. I had 5 of them there for you. Amon-Ra Tutty, 4 touchdowns. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm feeling myself, but I've been on the money lately with my touchdown scores. So I'm putting my pride and confidence on the line today with these picks. Amon-Ra Tutty in the Rams Lions game, Christian Watson Tutty in the Broncos Packers game, Justin Jefferson and Pickens TDs in the Cowboys Minnesota game, and then over 23.5 points for Detroit. Guys, that is it for this episode of NFL Turf Talk. I'm going to head over to the DSM Media Philadelphia YouTube channel right now. Get started on Eagles pregame. Precursor. It's not going to be a long show, obviously. The game starts at 1, but there's not a lot to get into. The Eagles need a fucking W. So I'll see you guys over there. Peace.